Chapter 1. The Fire. Elijah Carter's life changed on a bitter January night when a faulty space heater sparked a fire that devoured his family's apartment. His mother barely escaped with his younger sister Nia, while Elijah had to be pulled out unconscious by firefighters. They lost everything: home, savings, and stability. In the days that followed, they moved into a crowded shelter. Elijah, once a top student with dreams of becoming an engineer, now felt like a ghost of who he used to be. School became distant. His backpack, once filled with textbooks, was now stuffed with donated clothes and a journal he rarely opened. What haunted Elijah most wasn't the fire, it was the silence afterward. The way his mother avoided eye contact, the way Nia stopped drawing, the way teachers looked at him like a charity case. But one night when he couldn't sleep, he sat under the emergency light in the hallway and opened the journal. He sketched a portable solar panel sewn into a backpack, an idea to help people who lived like him. He didn't know it then, but that drawing would spark a path out of the ashes. Chapter 2. Ashes. The shelter was a maze of noise, tension, and exhaustion. Every day felt like a test Elijah hadn't studied for. He watched his mother wither under stress and Nia grow quieter. The weight of his family's pain pushed on him. He started going to the public library after school, not to read at first, but to escape. There he met Harold Jensen, a retired electrical engineer turned volunteer. The old man noticed Elijah's sketchbook. "You design?" Harold asked. Elijah shrugged. "Just ideas." Harold smiled. "Ideas are the start of everything." They started talking, slowly. Harold showed him science books and online courses. Elijah returned day after day. He began to learn again, not just facts, but belief. Belief that he could rebuild, belief that he wasn't finished. One night Elijah fixed a broken lamp in the shelter with wires from an old toy. That small act lit up more than just the room. It lit up something inside him. Chapter 3. The Stranger. Harold became Elijah's quiet mentor. He challenged him: keep a lab journal, sketch, think, fail, repeat. With Harold's guidance, Elijah discovered a local maker space. There he built basic prototypes using scrap parts, solar chargers, mini heaters, and makeshift filters. For the first time since the fire, he wasn't just surviving, he was creating. In the shelter, he started fixing broken electronics and helping kids with homework. Nia began drawing again. His mother started smiling more. It wasn't much, but it was movement. Harold brought him a flyer one evening, a youth innovation contest themed around sustainability. Elijah stared at it. "Do you think I'm ready?" Harold just nodded. "You've been ready." Chapter 4. Sparks. Elijah poured everything into his project, a backpack with built-in solar panels and USB charging ports. It was simple, cheap, and built from discarded tech. He called it Soulmate. The week before the pitch, Harold and Elijah refined every detail. Elijah practiced his speech, while Nia offered design tips. On presentation day, he stood in front of a panel of judges and told his story. "I know what it's like to be powerless. This is my answer." He didn't have a polished prototype, but he had something stronger: purpose. The judges saw it. Elijah won. The prize wasn't just the money or mentorship. It was a doorway, an invitation to a pre-college engineering program, a chance to turn loss into leadership. That night, back at the shelter, Elijah held up his certificate. Nia cheered. His mother wept quietly. Harold patted his shoulder. "Now," he said, "let's build what comes next." Chapter 5. Blueprints. The engineering program was intense. Elijah juggled long bus rides, lectures, part-time shelter chores, and weekend hours at the makerspace. Most of the other students had laptops, quiet homes, and private tutors. Elijah had Harold, a second-hand tablet, and determination. At first, he barely kept up, but Harold helped him focus. "Engineering is just applied curiosity," he said, "and you've got plenty of that." Elijah spent late nights sketching refined versions of Soulmate. One professor noticed his work and offered access to lab materials. Soon, Elijah was building a lightweight, waterproof model using 3D printed parts. He entered it into another competition, this time statewide. He didn't win, but he placed. And more importantly, he was noticed. A tech nonprofit offered him a summer internship. It was unpaid, but it came with mentorship and access to a full lab. For the first time, Elijah started to believe that maybe, just maybe, he could shape his future. Back at the shelter, his mother got word that they were approved for transitional housing. It was small, but it was theirs. The night they moved in, Naya taped one of Elijah's sketches to the front door. Their new beginning had a blueprint. Chapter 6. Rising Tides. The internship placed Elijah in a startup that specialized in clean energy solutions for low-income communities. He worked under a brilliant but demanding engineer named Lena Cho. Her feedback was sharp, but fair. "You've got vision," she said once, "but you need precision." Elijah started waking up at 5 a.m. to read research papers and code tutorials before catching the train. He failed fast, learned faster. Lena eventually let him lead a small test project, designing a modular solar light for emergency shelters. The prototype worked and was immediately adopted by a local relief nonprofit. Elijah returned to the makerspace to find Harold waiting for him with good news. He'd been nominated for a National Youth Innovators Grant. But that week, Harold collapsed. A stroke. He survived, but was left unable to speak clearly. Elijah visited him every evening, reading him notes, sketches, stories of the progress Harold had started. "You built this. I'm just finishing it," Elijah whispered. Chapter 7. The Summit. The Youth Grant Summit in Washington, D.C. felt like stepping into another world. Polished halls, rows of booths, people in suits. Elijah moved through it all, clutching his prototype with sweaty palms. For a boy from a shelter, this wasn't just a conference. It was a test of how far he'd come. He waited backstage, reviewing his pitch, hands trembling. But when they called his name, he stepped up. Under the lights, he found his voice. "My name is Elijah Carter. I come from a place where people are used to being forgotten. This backpack, Soulmate, is for them." He spoke about growing up homeless, about rebuilding from the ashes, about Harold. His voice cracked, but didn't break. Then he showed the fourth version of Soulmate, lightweight, efficient, practical. Questions followed, some skeptical, some curious. Elijah held his ground. By the end, the room was silent. Then applause. He won the national grant. The win led to interviews, articles, meetings with tech leaders. Soulmate's pilot launch was greenlit. Shelters in 3 states signed up. Elijah returned home to find the local paper with his face on the front page. Harold, though weak, smiled when Elijah placed the certificate in his lap. A tear slipped down his cheek. "You did it," Elijah whispered. Chapter 8. Beneath the Ashes. 5 years later, Elijah Carter unlocked the doors of a sunlit building bearing the sign Ashlight Labs. The name was a tribute to beginnings forged in fire. Inside, engineers and designers worked on accessible, affordable solutions for people displaced by disaster. Soulmate had expanded into a family of products: lighting kits, filtration modules, portable shelters. Elijah walked past his team, greeted interns, stopped to inspect a solar prototype. On one wall hung the original drawing, the sketch made by flashlight in the shelter. During a mentorship Q&A, a student asked, "What gave you the courage to keep going?" Elijah paused. "Courage isn't always loud," he said. "Sometimes it's just sketching by the light of a hallway bulb when you've lost everything." He looked out the window. The city sparkled. We all carry fire inside us. The trick is learning how to build with it. The team applauded. Elijah smiled. He'd risen from the ashes, and now he helped others do the same. Thanks for watching. Take action today, not tomorrow. Press subscribe. And let's keep learning together. You're doing great. See you in the next one. Stay strong.